It's your girl Rosii here, and today on Iconix Radio, we have the amazing Barry Coffing. Now, I do have to say, Barry does come with a disclaimer. So just sit on the edge of your seats and get ready. Now, we are beyond excited to have Barry here because he's a visionary founder and CEO of We Get Artists, Springboard Festival and Conference, sustainable artist, as well as a seasoned music producer, songwriter, and industry expert with over 200 songs written for film and TV and counting. #1 hits worldwide, and a wealth of experience helping independent artists navigate the ever-evolving music industry, literally. Barry Coffing to this very day is a true icon in his own right. His expertise spans music licensing, distribution, streaming, and artist development. And here's, without any further ado, the one, the only, Barry Coffing.
That is the best intro I've ever had. You know?
Barry, stop.
No.
I got one lash hanging. Don't let it fall.
Yes, I wouldn't want to be responsible for that. No.
Barry, oh my God, I have so many questions. Some are just gonna come right off the grip, but I know you came in. Barry was on the dime, on time, okay? And my first question to him was very simple. You woke up this morning, and what was the first thing that you did? And on a day of Barry Coffing in the morning, what is it like?
Usually, it's my wife and I both are independent, work from home, so it's usually we have the family meeting of who needs what car, what are you doing today? Oh, we're both going to crazy places, so see you, and we do that, get ready, hit Starbucks, and then go face our individual days.
Are you going for coffee or tea at Starbucks?
I'm a coffee.
Period.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know.
Well, I'm a black tea guy too.
Oh, let me find out, Barry.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I do black tea, light ice, no sweetener.
Do you get a little agave, or do you just get the regular sweetener?
Oh no, I'm a man.
No agave, sugar free.
Yeah. That's like you could lose your man card. You don't know about being a man. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now. You could lose your man card like that. I like candles and flowers. I can't tell people that.
No. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's like
Again, if you're on the edge of your seat yet, don't fall, because it's gonna get better. Now, let's get to it, Barry. I just really want to say thank you, because I know your schedule is very busy all the time. You deal with so many dynamics in the industry, and not only that, you deal with independent artists. And oh my gosh, I'm sure it can definitely become overwhelming at times, but you're the man for the job.
Is that their question there?
No, you are. I'm telling you, you're the man for the job.
Well, I was an independent artist. I mean, I basically got chewed up by the industry in every way. I had a record deal on Warner Brothers in Asia. I had my own label with Sony Distribution. I had a publishing deal with Polygram that got gobbled up by Universal. So I still have an admin deal with Universal. So I was really at a point of transition, both musically and technically, but also the business-wise. Mm-hmm. So I have a foot in each school. Like, I was one of the first people in Houston to use a computer to record with. I had a Commodore 64 with an 8-inch screen, and we went in and I sequenced my parts ahead of time, in the 80s. And so I got to see that go but I was using 2-inch tape, where they would go, hey, let's use the bridge from the second take, and they would cut it with a razor blade and tape it onto the wall, Yeah. So I come from that old school to the first computers that were crashing. I paid, me and my friend Everett Harp, his wife was doing something with an educational thing, so we got the educational discount on a Mac. What was it? A Mac Plus or something like that. Paid $1,200 or $1,600 for a computer that had 45, megs of storage space,
Wow.
So I went through all of that technology stuff, and then the business from the major labels and having real distribution where they would advance you money. At a point in the 80s, they had it to a math equation. If your song hit this at the radio, you were going to move that many records. Mm-hmm. There was a brief period where there was a math equation for the music business, and a lot of people have never forgotten that, and they keep trying to get back to that world, but it isn't there. It's not. It was a brief period, and they screwed it up too. Once they found out that if you got a song this chart position on the charts, it was going to sell X amount of records. they quit making great records. They're going, get me a single that can chart here and here, and we'll make the money. So they started making crappy records.
So you initially was an independent artist yourself, and then before we even get into that, I kind of want to back up because I see you representing today. You have a little pendant.
This thing?
Yeah.
HSPVA, the High School for the Performing Visual Arts here in Houston, the second school of its kind.
You don't say.
Yes.
Are you an alumni?
I am, in fact.
Stop, Barry. For you, being an alumni, especially, some of the amazing greats obviously came from HSPVA. Not everybody got into HSPVA, y'all. Now, you just don't walk in and put in, your mama don't put in the application and you just be like, oh, my baby. No.
They don't care. No, they
Thank
never
you,
cared, and they care less now.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Barry. But for you growing up to even, when you look at you as an adolescent and then you now, like, how did you literally find your spot and say, this music thing, this is me? What was it like for you growing up?
So first off, my family was like the Von Trapp family. So my dad and mom both sang. My mom did light opera, Broadway kind of things. My dad was in a mixed race doo-wop group in the 50s. Okay. So called the Crusaders. Even funnier, they had white sweaters with the red cross on them. And they'd open for Bill Haley and the Comets at Hobart Arena in Ohio. So
the hair totally is coming together now.
Yeah,
I get it.
They've done that. And so I have a brother and a sister. When we would sing Happy Birthday, it was a 4-part experience. What part are you singing? So
no.
I didn't know everybody couldn't sing. So my brother, my sister, and I all went to that school. My sister was in the first 4-year graduating class. I got in late. We'd moved to Texas. We'd also been athletes, so I played football, anything with a ball kind of thing. And I got hurt my freshman year, we were living in Florida. And so we were on a split thing. The school had 2,000 students in room for 1,000. So they would do the underclassmen or upperclassmen would go the first half of the day, and the second half of the day would be the underclassmen. I got hurt. I couldn't take PE, so I took extra choir classes, and I would come early to sing with the juniors and seniors.
Okay. Really quick, Barry, what position did you play in football? Because now I'm trying to envision
I was left tackle, the line tackle both sides.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so what was that transition like for you? Were you like, well, I sing all the time, might as well just go in and,
when I had that year off, so then
okay.
I was doing, because they had an incredible choir program, the director was Ray Marquette, and he ended up starting the High School for the Performing Visual Arts in Florida.
Okay.
So we had a 240 voice choir. We would go win state. I was all state as a freshman.
Come on.
So he let me in. They had a special group of 40 ringer singers, and so I got in that early. He also had a summer program my brother and I were both in before transitioning from junior high to high school. So this guy had a farm club going. He was killing it. So, and then when I got hurt my freshman year, because I started playing ball from 9 years old on. But I didn't do my growth spurt till later. So I had all the technique to play the position, but I didn't have the size. And so I got hurt really bad. We were in spring practice or something, and I blocked my man, and I saw this guy, looked like he was jogging, really huge guy. He was like 6'4", 240. And I said, I'm going to get me a twofer. So I step out, and I duck and hit him, and I hit him right in the solar plexus, and he folds me up like a bad tent because I was weighing about 155,
Oh.
He hit me by 100 pounds. I got him, but he got me. So he screwed up my back, screwed up my elbow, and they said, you're out for the season. And so then I took all these extra choir classes, and I tried to come back my sophomore year, and I went, girl to girl ratio football as a lineman or singing in the choir.
Come on.
I'm going, when I moved to Texas, I played football my sophomore year, and then I got into HSPVA. I'm going, great, we're done.
Right.
I made the pivot there. I don't think I ever believed I was going to do it for a living, but I liked it. It was fun. Even when I graduated, I had an opera scholarship here at the Houston Baptist University.
Wow. And
so I did that. And then I didn't get along with them because I started gigging then. And so I was playing at the Woodlands on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they would trash my voice, because singing pop and rock is not great for your voice. So I'd come in, my voice lesson was at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. on Monday morning. and they said, "You're trashing your voice. Look, you either quit the music or we're going to take your scholarship."
What?
Yeah, they said you can't. You're one of our most promising freshmen, but you can't halfway it. The opera's not a halfway thing.
Right.
I just didn't have the love for that. And then me and the music theory teachers were not okay. They'd say, we're going to do 4-part writing, and I had a synth at home, and so I would, they would say, but nothing above a German 6. So I would write these cool string parts with 7s and 9s. I would not listen, and as you might imagine. And again, it's difficult to teach music where there really aren't any rules. Mm-hmm. Like in some ways, they're right. You have to learn the rules to break them.
Right.
I was unwilling or unable to do that, so I was getting bad grades. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, I heard those things. Their music's crap. Did you hear my arrangement?
Come on now. Because I think this is everything makes so much sense to me about you. That's why I really wanted to know, like, because you see Barry walk into a room, you're like, man, who's the bodyguard? But
that's what everybody thinks.
Who's the bodyguard?
When I put my hair back, they automatically assume,
yeah,
I'm the bodyguard. Yeah, I'm here, security.
But he needs security. But when you think about it, that's what people see, not knowing who you really are, Barry. Come on now.
Well. Yeah,
Barry White had a brother. I'm telling you, he would be the introvert. Barry is the extrovert for sure.
It's so funny. My slang term, I like to call myself Barely White, because I had like R&B and soul music. Because my dad was driving around when I was like a kid.
Oh my gosh.
In a Lincoln with the first Barry White record, on an 8-track.
Come on.
And I got in. I was into Curtis Mayfield. We lived with Marvin Gaye at the house. So
come on, Barry.
Yeah. So I grew up not. That with Protest Peter, Paul, and Mary, and show tunes. So it was really messed up bunch of stuff,
Barry, I just want to say thank you. Like, seriously, I tell a lot of people thank you, but I always have reasoning. I do it with intention. I want to say thank you for everything that you've been through until today, even what you've done for so many artists, for the music industry, for people as Mr.Iconix, myself, so many people that just look for that inspiration, that never gave up. You are just that, seriously.
Well, part of what I strove to do was that's what sustainable artists is about. There's a bunch of people that'll help you make art. Yeah. They don't teach you how to make a living.
Come on.
So it's like, I call it a Republican charity, teach a man to fish,
Yeah, that's right.
But it is a different thing. And there's a lot of I have a lot of bones to pick with the way that we're treated or represented.
Okay.
A little bit bitter party of one. Your table's ready. Yeah. They act like we're bad businessmen. And the problem I see in the music business, it's not a business.
Okay.
It's an entrepreneurship. So those are two. In fact, there are people in the educational world that believe that entrepreneurs have no business in a business school. They should be with the fine arts. And the joke I always tell, only an entrepreneur and artist would spend 18 hours a day for free and be happy.
Come on now. Facts.
We do it because we have a vision. That's what they both share. I have a vision for a new toothpaste, a new whatever. They're passionate about it beyond reason. And the other thing too is the whole structure of entrepreneurship from a business. Business, you get your paperwork done, you got your banking, you got your legal entity, you do that. The average band lasts 6 months. If you do that with every project you start, you'll be broke.
That's right.
You got no money to and if you're not a bad businessman, it's not that kind of business. It's an entrepreneurship. You create a minimum viable product. You go out in the marketplace. If someone likes it, build a company around it. If they don't, start a new band, write a new song, come up with a new idea. We're entrepreneurs, whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not. The other thing we are is we're influencers. Everybody's talking about, influencer marketing. It's $35 billion this past year. Like, this generation, they don't care about commercials. They care about the Kardashians.
Barry, what you're doing right now is you bringing everybody into a Springboard. You bring.
Well, I'm just bringing them into what
let's go for it. Now, you guys just got a taste of what it is like to be in the presence of Barry Coffin and
a bunch of other people.
And a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Springboard and how did it actually come about. Springboard is a touring conference and festival, and you have independent artists with panelists and so much. How did Springboard come about?
So I grew up in Houston when South by Southwest started. My band, I had a band called Commercial Art, and we were supposed to play at the second one. One of the A&R guys from Atlantic said, "You know what? I'll come down to see you. Don't go to there." And then he no-showed on us. So I won't out anyone from Atlantic, right around where it started. Just say blonde hair. And so, but at the beginning, South by Southwest was where the artists in the industry got together. It was a place where they could find each other. For people got signed, great things happened. And as it went over, the clients were no longer the artist in the industry. It's now the city of Austin and Budweiser. So I watched them in the movie thing, Jump the Shark. I watched them no longer be what they were.
Right.
The trade show, they now make more money from the tech stuff, from a lot of the other things. It's $365 million to the Austin economy. So it's not a joke. Like once you get to that level, it affects the entire city. But was no longer good for us. So I could do a better panel. Oh man, I could do way better than these guys are now. I've been to their panels. I wanted my hour back. So I was talking some smack.
Right.
And somebody at the city center in Houston said, "We'll give you the outdoor stage for I think it was $600 or something for multiple days. You want to do a festival here?" And I went, "Exactly." So within 4 weeks, I did 3 days, 54 bands, put the whole thing together.
Come on, Barry.
Yeah, we did the first panels. I had Matthew Knowles, I think, came. I know Ricky Anderson, who teaches at Thurgood Marshall School of Law. Like these incredible people came and coached everybody up. We did it at a hybrid restaurant that was a flower shop and a Greek restaurant, or a Turkish restaurant and a flower shop and a coffee shop all at once. And so we had tables, we just, very impromptu, and we coached everybody up. And that was the beginnings of Springboard.
Wow.
And that was in 2012.
Now, just recently, we just came back. Actually, me and Mr.Iconix got a chance to join you on the panel for Springboard in San Diego West. Now, when you think of so many different people coming together to talk about music and also to get information, how does that make you feel as you see the different faces and so many different people just coming just to get the information? How does that make you feel because you're able to actually deliver that?
Well, to me, we call it the Springboard effect, but to me, the time we spend, and everybody's donating their time. None of the speakers are paid. None of our staff is paid.
Right.
It's a one. We're trying to fix that this year, but it's 100% volunteer.
Yeah.
And if we're not affecting lives, it's not worth it.
That's right.
And so this last one in particular, I thought everybody was in shock and awe at what we were providing, which is what I wanted to be. We're at the point now where it's. I'd be lying if I didn't say it was better than I hoped it could be, because it changes lives. We give me 72 hours, I'll get you to the next level.
Woo!
And that's a very bold statement. But the music business is in so much flux that, we used to videotape all the panels, but 6 months from now, I don't know if I'd tell you the same advice. Things are changing so rapidly. So I went from one time a year to twice a year. Now in this year, we're going to go with 4, possibly 5. So every 3 months, that can keep up with the pace of it. But I'm on the board of the music business program and the film program at HCC, which is the Houston Community College, and it's the second largest community college in the United States. We have 8 locations and 80,000 students. And so I'm on there kind of helping them with the curriculum, but we'll go and we'll make a decision. They'll say, okay, we're going to implement what you guys said in 3 years. Because the state law prevents us from implementing it immediately, because if someone starts a degree plan, you cannot change the requirements in midstream by some kind of weird law. So it's really frustrating for us because I don't know, it gets them directionally correct, but for it not to be implemented for 3 years is very frustrating.
See, what I love about you and everything the information that you're putting out, it's not things that people hear every day. These are things that we actually don't know. So just to hear
know.
So just to hear that now is thank you. I can say thank you a million times, and so don't say it's not enough because it's more coming.
No.
Okay. Now, also I know with We Get Artists is something that's is huge as well. Let's talk about We Get Artists and why is it so important to you and presented to the artists as well, the industry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So my background is I ran off to LA to be a rock star.
You don't say.
Yeah, got my deal on Warner Brothers. Went double cardboard. That's where your mom and 7 of her friends buy your record. Ended up working with Barry Mann and Steve Tyrell at Tyrell Mann, and Steve Tyrell was a promo guy. Discovered worked with Dionne Warwick, with Burt Bacharach. Just a really kind of great hustler, dynamic person. And then Barry Mann was a classic songwriter. He wrote "You've Lost That Love and Feeling," "Just Once." Him and Cynthia Wiley's wife were in the Brill Building in New York. I mean, they had amassed, even in the 90s, a publishing catalog worth $50 million, losing their publishing, Oh, wow. So that should tell you how crazy they, how incredibly talented. And I only wrote with Barry one time, and he changed the way I wrote. Six months later, it was like, oh, I get it, And so I'll never forget that. And Steve taught me more about business than anybody. Mm-hmm. I would be amazed because he'd go, Steve, white Italian, but grew up in 3rd Ward, or 4th Ward, one of the wards.
One of the wards.
Yeah. And so, him and Joe Sample were like best friends growing up. And so he would, hey, how you doing? We'll be fighting through silk. Yeah, this will be, he talked like, if you heard him on the phone, his color would not be apparent to you.
Yeah, okay.
So much so that we ended up doing the 5 heartbeats, and we show up on the set and they don't know he's white. So they're freaked out because here they are doing a black film, black, and then he shows up. He had a good lawyer, so they can't even fire him. So we end up doing it, and they become friends, and, all that stuff was cool. But he was that kind of guy,
right.
But really dynamic. He would say, they're going to try to do this, they're going to do this. And one of the things that was remarkable about him is he never got his feelings hurt. No matter what thing they did, well, you know what, they're trying to do this to us, but and he was very forgiving, really interesting. And I find myself a lot like him,
nice.
Where I'm, they're trying to screw you, there are very few evil people. Mm-hmm. There are some flawed people, there are some short-sighted people, there are greedy people, but I very seldom do you meet someone evil.
Right.
So if you can see some modicum of good, you can deal with that. I can't.
So We Get Music came about by affiliating with some of these people.
Well, I was affiliated with them, and so I worked with them writing songs for film and TV. Mm-hmm. So between those guys and what I was doing independently, I ended up putting 200 songs in film and TV. I co-wrote with Steve and his wife, Stephanie, a song called "How Do You Talk to an Angel" that was #1 in 54 countries.
Wow.
It was a theme song for a spelling show called The Heights. 5 Years of California Dreams, co-wrote the theme on that. Wow. Where I had these like Steve would always bring in the most amazing people. So my band for California Dreams was Lee Sklar with the beard, the great bass player who's played probably on more hit songs than anyone in the history of anything, Mike Landau on guitars, Michael Jackson, all these other things. Gary Malaber on drums, who played drums on Springsteen's Born in the USA and all the Steve Miller Band stuff.
Woohoo!
And then me on keyboards, so you can tell who was not supposed to be there. So we didn't think like that got picked up the same time The Heights got picked up. So we're writing songs every week for 2 TV shows.
Wow.
And have to work with actors. So I would do all the vocal arranging, and then I would work with Steve with the actors. They released How Do You Talk to an Angel just for fun. Capitol did to test it at radio. It screams up the charts, and we have no record. So me and Steve and one engineer fly up to Vancouver where they're shooting the show, and we have to do the whole record in 2 weeks. So we go in there, we do with the actors, and I met Dale Penner, who ended up being the guy that discovered Nickelback and did all that stuff. So he's my engineer. Steve takes the LA guy,
Now,
We're
not to
running
mention,
2
not
studios.
to cut you off, but Dale also joins the panel with you as well. I mean,
We've been friends ever since. We did I think we did 96 hours in the studio in 1 week.
okay.
Yeah, it's like,
Well,
yeah.
so
You're like, and if you have to go to the bathroom, okay, great, everybody take a break. He's got to go to the bathroom.
Everybody get back.
Yeah. And so for me, we were working in, Steve was in studio A or B, and I was in the other, like we were in 2 different studios. So I'd be working with lead vocals, and then whenever there was a background vocal thing, I would have to shut my studio down, run over and do the vocal arranging, and then go back and forth, But we got most of the stuff done, and Steve kind of finished it off in LA. But it was, once you survive certain things, like when I first got into LA, I had some friends and they were working on Kids Incorporated for Disney. And I worked with a 12-year-old Jennifer Love Hewitt and 16-year-old Fergie from Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they were in there, and they said, we need someone to do the background vocal arranging. Oh, me, pick me, So I volunteered to do the background vocal arranging for 75 songs on a summer. Most of them were covers, and I just had to listen and get them to sing the right parts. But they also said, we need some originals. Barry, you're a really good writer. So I wrote 10 songs to script and demoed them in 14 days.
Come on, Barry.
Yeah, and so once I survived that, I just had my wife, like, bathing optional, bring me food in the studio, and my proudest song that I wrote on that was a song called Say Something. And the instructions were, write a song about child abuse, but keep it up and happy with an 18-bar dance break.
Oh.
And I went, okay. Yeah. And I went, I can do it. And again, I like difficult things. So that is, God help me. Like if it's not hard, I'm not into it, so that, and once you survive that, you're not afraid. So I wrote this song called Say Something,
Wow.
And it was like, if someone's making you cry, don't be afraid and keep it inside. Yeah. And if you think it's not right, don't be ashamed, there's nothing to hide. Say something to a teacher, a parent, or a friend. They can't tell you're in trouble unless you raise your hands and say something.
Oh, Barry!
Boom! 18-bar dance break. And what did they do? That's
a viral moment right there.
Yeah, they don't use it. They use Living Years instead. That's the only song of mine they didn't take. So I'm going, no! So, yeah, welcome to LA, kid. So somebody else, I had an artist record it later. It's out. It lives in the world. But wow. I was going, are you kidding me?
Barry, your stories could definitely just go on and on. But I think this is, again, why you're so important to the industry, and especially for independent artists and producers just in general. Because
did you just call me impotent? Didn't you say? I heard that. Oh no.
Important.
Oh, impotent. Oh, I thought you said impotent.
Impotent.
Oh no.
Did I go Southern? I'm so sorry, guys.
No, you didn't.
Oh
but
my gosh.
I might have heard it that way. No.
Impotent.
That was just.
I'm so sorry.
When you said impotent.
Barry would not just be the one to seriously say, yeah, I understand for sure, important. Barry. Okay, so here we go, y'all.
She didn't say that. That was just an easy joke that I had in the pocket. I'm sorry. I had to live up to the reputation. I'll be good now.
Thank you. Are you sure,
done.
Barry?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I will best efforts, like a good lawyer.
Speaking of amazing.
But I have 4 kids. I'm not impotent. I just want to point that out.
Is this mic still on, guys?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
I didn't bring my holy oil. I said I was going to bring my holy oil, but I didn't bring my holy oil.
She needed it.
Barry, speaking of family, your wife is so amazing. Could we briefly talk about your amazing wife and how amazing she's been partnering up with you with Springboard, and we get artists as well?
That's an interesting way you say that. When I started Springboard, no one liked it. Everyone in my company hated it. My wife and family said, why are you doing this? You're putting all these hours in this. This is stupid.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So now, of course, everyone, this is the greatest thing. It's the best brand. You're amazing. You're a genius, And so that the biggest problem, I think, for artists, and particularly I see it with directors, you like, it's like there's an Asian saying, you will find no sane men on the top of mountains. You get to a certain point not by listening to people, but by ignoring them. You have a vision, you think you know better, and it gets to a certain point, and it then once you climb up a certain level, now you're screwed. Because if you don't listen, I see so many first-time directors not listen. They bring in help that can help them and then don't listen.
Right.
You know, and the same thing in the music
But
business.
you listen, though, when your wife speaks because
Oh, no, she told me, you picked of all the subjects to bring up with my wife. She is incredibly talented, and it's at the point where our joke is, if she wants me to do a job, I turn it down. If she hates it, I pursue it.
Oh my gosh, this is getting so
so
good.
So my band had broken
I
up,
love it.
and I was out of work for like a month or so, and she said, "Why don't you get a job at McDonald's? Why don't you do something?"
I love her.
And I went, "Get a job at McDonald's? Did you just tell me to get a job at McDonald's?" That I was super ticked off. You know, again, when you put your heart and soul in a band,
Right.
You know, and there's a parting of the ways that they fire you, which is what happened.
Right.
And it was because I'd gotten an acting role in a film, which I took, and it required a certain number of night shoots. And in defense of the band, the club owner said that, if you miss things to do that, I'll fire the band. And so they fired me to keep the job, you know, but it still hurt, you know.
Right.
And some of the guys have apologized since then, but it's like, you don't know any better when you're in a small market, you know. I had a vision of taking the band. It was an incredible band, and a lot of the guys went on to play with bigger artists and stuff like that. But I wanted us to go regional, but we had a sit-down gig six nights a week where they put 300 people in there. And they're going, "We're not leaving this. We got paid good. It was your gear stayed up there, you know." So we were probably going to part ways anyway. But I was licking my wounds on that.
There you go.
And then I ended up starting a band called Commercial Art. I two of the girls I'd gone to school with that were really great singers. I'm going, "Well, who are you playing with?" And one of them was teaching music at a Jewish nursing home. The other one was a medical secretary. I'm going, "You guys aren't singing? What's up? No one will hire us and all that." "Well, I'll hire you. Let's start a band." So we go in there. We put the band together and get some other great guys, and we go to the agents and they go, "Well, we like what you're doing, Barry, but you got one colored, that's okay. But you get two colored, see?" And they start to draw a colored crowd. And the colored crowd, they don't tip, they don't drink, you know. "So why don't you just get rid of one of your girls and we'll start booking you?" Which I'm not, as one might imagine, a good real rule follower. So
Right.
I went, "No, thank you."
Right.
In more colorful. Now, I
More
just,
colorful.
yeah. So, but we couldn't get a job. None of the agents would book us.
Okay.
So I went into a place that used to be a jazz bar that
Okay.
a friend of mine, Trey Winborn, had owned. It was called Baxter's. And when it closed, a couple of gay guys bought it and turned it into Club Flamingo. And it was right at Melrose and Montrose.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And so I walked in and said, "What you need here is a band, hallelujah. Me and my fine sisters will come in here. We will draw you a crowd. We will have them drinking. All you need to do, give me a few weeks. Give me Thursday through Saturday, and let me show you what me and my sisters can do." We stayed 6 months. We turned it half straight, lines out the door.
Period.
Yeah.
Barry Coffing, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, I know y'all just throwing popcorn at the TV right now, as you should.
These are stories I don't normally tell. I don't know. I've never had anybody ask me this stupid stuff, but if you want to know,
Leave it to Rosii.
I've always been wacko. You know.
I love it. I love it.
Then we do 4 originals. We go in the studio.
Yeah.
And we cut an extended, like it was a 45, but we ran it at good speed, and we put 2 songs on each side. And on the cover, I wrote a song called "Half of Someone's Love," kind of about unrequited thing, and so I do a picture of me and the 2 girls in a bed. I've got my hands like this. We've got everything pulled down where it looks like they're like it's super racy. The Swati, the photographer,
Sorry,
one of the
Grandma.
artists. Yeah, one of the artists didn't want to do it, and
Right.
so I had the photographer's girlfriend kind of looked like her, so and he climbed up and they had like the ceiling tiles, cut a hole in it. The photographer is his girlfriend, and we shoot these pictures, and it's me with those things, and I put the record out.
Come on, Barry.
Oh yeah, and I mean, the town went crazy. Because you got to remember, this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay.
When Barry said earlier, like, I've been ahead of my time, I knew it, but oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
That's it right there.
Yeah. It was, and that was the only time my wife was super mad. She just, because I had her do the
Bringing it back full circle now.
Yeah, she, because we had, we dated, we had started dating, and, that was the other thing I got in trouble with. I took her to her prom and had to put the band out of work for a night. So they were all mad because she met me in the club sneaking in and by the way, lied about her age. I don't find out how old she is till later. And not that I was 21.
Barry, what is going, let me get back to my question.
Was my wife super supportive? Not really. But she's liked the ride, and she's super supportive now, and she does all my logos and all that stuff. So she's a branding expert. So yeah, we both are in the arts. So my poor kids, I have 4 kids, and they grew up, everything messed up.
I know your son is one of your sons, right? Yeah. He's playing the drums.
Yeah, he's a drummer. He's at the Visible Music College, which is like a Christian Berkeley. They love the Lord and tattoos. And so it started by Ken Stortz, who was one of the guitar players in a Christian metal band called Skillet. And so they train up music ministers and stuff like that. It's an incredible thing. And so we have, when we go to Memphis, we have all of our springboards at his college. And then we go down to Beale Street and showcase. So so I've got a son there. I have a son and daughter that went to North Texas. My daughter was a jazz vocal major. My son was a business major, but really great lyricist, had a metal core band, then moved to kind of like alternative hip hop. Mm-hmm. Super talented. So I did records for both of those guys. My oldest daughter, just incredible. She was an English major at U of H, but great writer, really funny. And so she works at a real estate thing, talking to the tech team. And they'll like, they would say, "What's wrong with the thing?" "Oh, it's a code to 504 error." They don't know, they know their tech stuff, but they can't communicate in English. So as an English major, she translates their geek stuff into "here's what's broken."
Come on now. You're talking about a talented family.
They are.
He said they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you just think about it, again, it all just comes back full circle, right back around, right?
Well, it's. I think it's in the blood. It's a thing. Yeah. They found that musicians, it's sort of like when you find out people that are alcoholics, which both my parents were. It's a genetic thing, and it's very much, they get higher on alcohol than normal people. I think it's the same thing with music.
Yeah.
You get higher on, like, everyone gets high from music. Everyone's influenced, but I think we're more susceptible. Like, it means so much more to me. Like, my wife, whatever's on the radio, that's really good. She's cool. I'll spend more time picking my music than my clothes for a trip. So it's like, it's not the same thing.
Right. For the artists and anyone that's listening to the sound of your voice, what words of encouragement would you like to give them?
I think that I like the Mark Twain quote, "History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes." I think we're about to go through the 60s. I think music's going to be at the forefront of change and change back. We always swing too far. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be the 60s exactly, but there's going to be, our artists are going to have to stand up and be the tip of the spear in terms of changing the way people think and fighting the narrative. Like, they've got these machines predisposed, anger and hate, like, it's way, way quicker. Mm-hmm. Again, lies are halfway around the world before the truth gets its shoes on.
Yeah.
I think, the difference between music and these things, there's a great marketing quote: "If you show people something, you make them think. If you play them something, you make them feel."
Ooh.
So we can bypass that. It's why Spielberg and these guys say 2/3 of their movie are the music. Yeah. You can cover your ears, but you still hear, mm-hmm. You still know somebody's getting stabbed with that knife,
That's true. That is so
Psycho,
true.
for those of you who don't know. Yeah.
For everyone that's listening, where can they find you, support you, and just keep We Get Artists and Springboard alive?
Well, so circling back around to the one question I didn't answer was, what is We Get Artist? So I was in LA with my family. We'd been out there for almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
They had their extended family. Like we were like kind of the black sheep, lone wolves out there. And my wife was really strong with her family in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad had a stroke, and my sister was dealing with that. And she said, well, I'm buying a new house. I got this other house. And then I had a son that my youngest son was born, and he's on the autistic spectrum. So we saw certain things, even before he was born, they're going, man, that head's awful large, it's like, And so long story short, with all that going on, I felt like my wife had done the 20 years for me to live my dreams and stuff. So we moved back to Houston.
Okay.
And I'm going, what am I going to do? And I had this idea. I had a group that I had all these credits and I couldn't get arrested. So in my basement in El Segundo, we got together and formed Uprising Entertainment. And we took all of our resumes and put them together. Mm-hmm. And it was a 29-page monstrosity. Come on. We worked for this, that, the other, and suddenly we could get work. And everybody kind of music supervised a little bit. And back in the day, you would just have a hard drive of your friend's music that you knew you could get easy. Right. And I said, let's put them all together and trade. So we copied everybody's stuff. So now but you still couldn't find it. You'd have to call her. Who has the punk band? Who? You? I know it's on the drive, but what were they called? Dog Meat on Toast. That's right. Okay. And so we would go, and I said, we should build something. So we messed around with a front end from FileMaker Pro, mm-hmm. and I kind of said, hey, this could be something. Mm-hmm. And the people I was with they wanted to keep doing things the way they were.
Right.
And I had somebody else going, hey, why don't I'll partner with you. Mm. And so I went there. I was loyal to my guys to the point that they didn't want to do it. Then I went with that guy, and he ended up costing me a lot of money. He did have the domain musicsupervisor.com.
Right.
But it wasn't somebody that I could long-term work with. And so wrote a nice, very big check and got him out of the business and started musicsupervisor.com in 2005.
Come on.
We now have 320,000 songs from 20,000 labels in 79 countries.
Listen.
In a database. And our database, I built a custom search engine thanks to, with some friends, with Darby Fry, that Ruth McCartney introduced me to. Thank you. And basically as a supervisor, you can log in at midnight and go, I want a rock song mid-tempo with a male vocal that sounds like that band Oasis from the 1990s. It's kind of sad, but has birthday in the lyric. Now, I need it in Portuguese, and it's got to have acoustic guitar. Ding, 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 whatever you want. Here you go. So we've been doing that since 2005.
Wow.
And so we're on this will be in August, it'll be our 20th year.
20 years. Barry, up top.
Yeah. And so,
yeah, baby.
And it used to be got music, need music, got music, need music. I'm tired of this. And our clients are other music supervisors.
Right.
Like I stay and slum it in the indie world. I'm not trying to get a job at Disney. Been there, done that. One of the jokes about working at Disney. Hey, if you're not here on Saturday, don't even bother showing up Sunday. I mean, they work those guys.
Oh, man.
And they give them what we call golden handcuffs. They'll give them stock options. You leave, you lose them. So there are people at Disney that are richly chained, and I didn't want to do that. That's, that's stuff you didn't know, but,
We love you, Barry.
Yeah.
Barry, I think it's almost time to play a game, Barry.
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
Oh, well, let me finish my own thing. So anyway, so We Get Artist is the other door to Music Supervisor. So when you go to We Get Artist, that's where if you got music and you want to be in film and TV, go to wegetartist.com, and that's where we communicate with them. If you're an indie filmmaker and you need help and you can't afford Beyonce, I'll show you the next Beyonce. You go to musicsupervisor.com. So it's a front door, back door of the same thing. And then off of that, the springboardfest.com is where all the festival stuff is, and the nonprofit is sustainableartist.org. But those are the three things that I'm running around with, and there's where you can find me.
I'm sure you guys seen all that down there. Stop it. Now, it's almost time to play a game,
Woo-hoo.
guys. Woohoo! But before we get ready to do that, to your team, you have an amazing. Crystal is so super fire, But to your team, you want to give a shout out to your team?
Oh, heck yeah. Crystal and Ron and Lily and Christine. I mean, these guys are amazing, you know.
Nice.
Ron Fontenot, who takes all the photographs.
Yes.
We have a very small crack team that's doing it. In fact, we're getting ready for Springboard Houston. If you go to springboardhouston.com, it's the signups are open.
Nice.
And we're gonna expand Springboard now. Probably, ultimately, we're going to 10 stages and 100 bands in Houston, and we will add a touring element by 2026, where we will coach them up in a main city for 3 days, showcase them, and then take them on the road to 4 other cities in the region and make it a regional tour for 25 of the bands.
All right.
And so that's our goal for that. And so you can see if we fail or not.
All right, guys, the one and only Barry Coffing. Here we go. Barry, we're going to play this game, and I'm going to ask you a question, give you a few multiple choice, and you just give me the correct answer if you can. Now, you got a little help in here. You got Mr.Iconix in here. He may be able to help you out.
So number 1 is one wink. Number 2 is the other eye. That's means 3, 4. Yeah. Means 3. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. First question. Barry Coffing. Here we go. What's the first song you remember hearing that made you fall in love with music? Was it A, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen? Was it B, I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston? Or C, Billie Jean by Michael Jackson? Or could it even be D, Imagine by John Lennon?
Well, I'm older than that, so to help you out, D is the closest one. That is the correct answer.
All right, here we go. Who had their first hit with If You Had My Love? Was it A, Patti LaBelle, B, Mary J. Blige, C, Jennifer Lopez, or D, Monica?
Good Lord. What? I have no idea. B. Am I right?
Final answer.
Yeah, C.
C is correct,
all right,
Barry.
I had it down to 2, so all right, well.
Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Barry, which iconic artist is known for creating the famous phrase, I will survive? A, Gloria Gaynor.
A. Come on, that is why you're come on.
Okay.
Come on, I went to high school performing visual arts. You think I haven't been to a gay bar? Come on.
Okay, here we go. Barry, which famous album was Michael Jackson's biggest selling of all?
Thriller. 42 million out of the box.
Guys, that's Barry Coffing. Listen.
I'm sorry.
The one and only Barry Coffing, guys. I think this was one of the most funniest, most informative interviews.
I'm not sure that we enlighten people other than how weird I am. If that was your goal, well done.
Thank you, Barry. Barry, before we get ready to get up out of here, to the artists that are listening to the sound of your voice, when it comes to We Get Artists and Springboard, what should they do? Tell them one more time.
Just go, if you want your songs in film and TV, as long as you own it, control it, don't put any samples in it. I don't want to hear the Beatles stuff or any movie clips. Go to wegetartist.com. And you can see what we've done. Our deal is non-exclusive. You can leave any time. We take no ownership or control of your masters or recordings or of your publishing. If you hate my guts, 30 days notice, you're out. It's a rotating 30-day thing. The second you hate me, say bye. You know? So it's nothing threatening, and it's free. We don't charge anything to do it. We get paid when we make you money.
I love it. Guys, the one and only amazing icon himself, the Barry Coffing. It's here, guys. We love Barry Coffing. We cannot wait to have you back. And don't forget, you will be able to hear the Springboard West and beyond artists playing right here on Iconix Radio. So if you are an artist and you've been on Springboard coming up for 2025, remember, you will be played right here on Iconix Radio with the Barry Coffing Springboard Takeover. Bye. See you guys later.
You mean January 30th to February 1st, you're going to do a complete takeover on Iconix Radio?
Yes, Barry. That is correct. And then for the artists coming to Houston in March, they will also get a takeover as well. So be on the lookout for that as well. Those dates are coming soon.
Yep. March 20th through the 23rd.
All right, give me some.
Okay.
All right, guys.
I didn't do one more time. I didn't do half a jazz hand.
Half a jazz hand?
Okay. I got it. I'll do it better next time.
Guys, I am tired, but I love me some Barry Coffing. We'll see you guys on the next interview. Bye.